And there was one we didn't get to. Are we going to do that now or no, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Come on.
All right. So here's an little extra for you guys because we didn't get a chance to do our That Rocks pick, which is where we showcase a record or something else maybe that we're both into for the week that we feel you guys should know about. Mine this week is an artist by the name of...
Sorry, Ed. They go in the same order as the That Rocks. It will go Mr. Florentine, Mr. Jamieson, and then you.
I'm being scolded. By the way, Joe, our producer, maybe the most incredible accomplishment from the show that just ended was that in our 6-pack, it all ran in order and was labeled. That is a major, major step in the evolution of That Rocks. Thank you, Joe.
Right. But his beard does not compare to his hero, John Petrucci's, at all.
No.
There's Jim with John's beard.
There you go.
All right, so my pick is Geezer Butler's book, Into the Void. It's phenomenal. I got the audio book, actually. You know, Geezer doesn't have an annoying British accent. You can understand him. So I made sure I listened to like an episode of it before I got it. I'm like, okay, I can listen to this because most of those British guys are cranky and they're miserable and they fucking don't even speak English. But Geezer's great in it. So I'm up to the Never Say Die album where things are falling apart with the band. It's great. If you're a Sabbath fan, you know, I didn't notice they fired Geezer Butler right before Never Say Die album. Ozzy, Tony, and Bill got together and Bill said, hey man, you're fired from the band. And Geezer's like, what the fuck's that all about? Okay. And he goes, I guess I'm good. And like 2 weeks later, they called him up, hey, we're rehearsing tomorrow. He goes, and I was back in and nobody ever talked about it ever again. I don't know why they fired me, but he goes, I never trusted them after that because I felt like they were talking behind my back or we're all friends. And they obviously made this decision behind my back. But anyway, great book, Geezer Butler, Into the Void.
Yeah, I did that as my pick like 4 or 5 episodes ago because I had an advance of it. It's an amazing book. And the other thing, Jim, you didn't get there yet, but you probably know this. He was also canned or left just before Heaven and Hell. They started making Heaven and Hell without him because he was dealing with what's that?
With Ronnie playing bass on some of the demos.
No, and I think Craig Gruber, who was in Rainbow or something with him, or Elf, but Geezer was like going through this brutal divorce. He talks about it later in the book, and then they started making Heaven and Hell without him, and then he ended up coming back into the band and came back in to redo all the bass, and he's on the record. But yeah, he almost wasn't part of Heaven and Hell.
Wow.
All right. My pick. So my pick of the week is Eddie. Let's see if you can.
Oh, no, Ed, not again.
Well, no, Ed, see if you can read what that says. You were good last week. You got it.
You did this to me last week.
And you got it. So
I know, but that's really hard.
It looks like a black snowflake.
This should be a weekly bit. We should do this in the main show as a weekly bit because that is brutal, Don. Honestly, it looks like deer antlers on the top part.
I'm going to give you.
I swear to you, I can't decipher that one at all.
I can't see one.
Volume 2 is all I can read.
I can't even see one letter in there.
Me neither. I see deer antlers. And like, it looks like on the bottom it says rocks almost now.
Keep going, Ed. You're so close.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. Does it say That Rocks?
That's right. Yes, it does. Graphics Rob made a death metal logo out of our show name, and so I wanted to feature it here. And
we got to put that up. We got to put that up next week, too. That's too good, man. That is awesome.
And I think you got a budding death metal.
Yeah, I deciphered it. I did decipher it, but, man, what a job by Rob with that. I started figuring out the rocks on the bottom, and then I just kind of put it together.
I still can't see one letter anywhere.
You can see, Jim, if you look at the bottom half, you can see rocks. That is harder, but rocks is there.
All right, but my real pick.
That's an art form, man. That's amazing.
All right, Ed, so this is the real pick coming up now. And go ahead and there we go. That one you should be able to read, no problem.
Creeping Death.
That's right. Boundless Domain. Great death metal from Texas. And these guys have they've been around for a few minutes. But I think they've nailed it on this album. And for Cannibal Corpse fans, Corpse Grinder makes an appearance on this record. So that's my pick of the week.
All right. Who's next, Jim?
You.
No, you are.
Oh, me. All right. So that is the second album from an artist named Aaron Jones. It's called Chronicles of the Kid. Depending upon when you're watching this, it probably will be out this Friday. Maybe it's out already. Aaron Jones is a younger artist. He's in his early to mid 30s. He came from a really rough upbringing in the Seattle area. And I feel like I may have talked about him on a past episode of the show. His first album was called Child of the State. This is his new one. It is just killer, riff-driven, heavy rock, great vocals, totally real and live and raw, great songs. Love what he does. One of the newer artists I think that you should keep an eye out for. I've seen him play live. He was on Rocklahoma last year. I think he's on again this year. But love what he does, and his second album is smoking. It's coming out any day. Chronicles of the Kid by Aaron Jones.